Hello everyone, hope you are well. Welcome to PreAlgebra, and we're going to jump into chapter 7. We're going to talk about different forms of percents here, and we're going to do this in a little bit of a different format. I'm sorry you can't see me and I can't see you, but this is the easiest way I could do this for now. So here is section 7.1 on percents. Let's take a look here. First of all, we're going to take this fraction 3/4 and let's rename it into a fraction over 100. How would we do that? We would have to convert the denominator to 100. So what times 4 is equal to 100? 4 times 25 would equal to 100. So if we multiply 4 times 25, we would also have to multiply 3 times 25, and that's going to be 3 times 25 equals 75, and then 4 times 25 equals 100. And then our new fraction is going to be 75 over 100. Now, let's say that we have the fraction 3/5, and we want to convert this into a decimal. How would we do that? We would take 3 divided by 5, and then you would get 0.6. Now, let's talk about the definition of a percent. A percent is a ratio of a number to 100, and the symbol for percent is that percent sign right there. Now, let's take a look at these in terms of numbers here. Percent is a ratio. A ratio is a fraction. Remember, we talked about that in the last chapter. Converting a percent to a fraction, in order to do that, you would take the percent and you would express the percent as a fraction with the number over 100. And then you would have to reduce the fraction to the lowest terms. So let's take a look at an example here. You've got 88%, and we want to express that as a fraction in the lowest terms. So we're going to take 88%, put it over 100, and take out the percent sign. Now we have to reduce 88 over 100 to the lowest terms. And so here we have, what can we divide 88 and 100 by to make it a smaller fraction? We can factor out a 4. So 88 divided by 4 gives us 22. And then, sorry about that, 100 divided by 4 gives us 25. So when you factor out a 4, you get 22 over 25 as your reduced fraction. All right, let's take a look at the next example here. Express 37 and 1/2 as a percent, or 37.5% as a fraction in lowest terms. Okay, we're gonna take 37.5% and rewrite that in a decimal, 37.5%. Then I'm going to take that and rewrite it into a fraction. That's going to be 37.5 over 100. And then I have to reduce that to its lowest terms. I can divide by 5 and keep reducing it that way. But I can actually I need to multiply by 10 in order to eliminate the decimal first. So 37.5 times 10, and then 100 times 10, and that's going to give me 37.5 times 10 is 375. 100 times 10 is going to be 1,000. Now I have to think, how can I reduce 375 divided by 1,000? Or into the lowest fraction. 375 over 1,000. I'm going to reduce by 125. So 375 divided by 125, that's going to give me 3/8. And then 1,000 divided by 125 is going to give me 8. So my fraction in the lowest terms is 3/8. All right, let's take a look here now. 13 1/3% as a fraction in the lowest terms. So 13 1/3%. First, I have to rewrite that as into a fraction over 100. Then I have to convert 13 1/3 into a mixed, or that is a mixed number. So I have to convert that into an improper fraction. And then so I'll have 40 over 3. And then dividing by 100 is the same as saying times 1 over 100. So that's going to be, well, that's how I've gotten 40 over 3 times 1 over 100. Now I can also cross cancel with 40 and 100. And I can divide each of those by a common factor of 20. So 40 divided by 20 is 2. 100 divided by 20 is 5. So now I can multiply and find my new fraction. 2 times 1 is 2. And then 3 times 5 is 15. So 13 1/3% is equal to 2 over 15. Now, if I want to take a percent and I want to convert that to a decimal, I will have to replace the percent sign with dividing by 100, or this means per 100. So then I'm going to move the decimal plate 2 places to the left and divide by 100. All right, let's take a look at a couple of examples to put that into practice here. Okay, if I have 8% and I want to convert that into a decimal. Okay, I have 8%. I'm going to divide 8 by 100. That means I'm moving my decimal over 2 places, so I have 0.08. And then that's my final answer. 8% is equal to 0.08 as a decimal. Okay, now let's say we have 32 1/4%, and I need to convert that into a decimal. So 32 1/4%, I can convert that into a 32 0.25% first, because remember 1/4 is the same as 0.25. So here I have the percent as a decimal, 32.25%. Then I have to convert this percent into a decimal, and I'm going to move the decimal over right here. The decimal, I'm going to move it over 1, 2 places. Actually, sorry, the other way. 1, 2 places to the left, which is the same as dividing by 100. And then that means it's going to be 0.3225. So my final answer is 0.3225. All right, let's take a look at a couple of these skill check examples here. Okay, 41%, is that equal to 0.41? Okay, so here I have 41%. That means the decimal is going to be after the 1. If I move the decimal over 2 places to the left, 1, 2, that is the same as 0.41. So that is true. Now, if I have 0.67, does that equal 6.7%? If I have a decimal, I'm supposed to move it over 2 places, 1, 2, to get a percent. That means it becomes 67%. So this 6.7% is false. Okay, and then I have 5%. Is this equal to 0.5? I actually have to move my decimal over 1, 2 places. Is that equal to 0.5? No, that is actually equal to 0.05. So this is false. All right, let's take a look at some of these examples here now too. Okay, so I have 60%. What would that be as a decimal? I'm going to move my decimal over from the 0, 1, 2 places. It's going to be 0.6. Okay, then I have 13 1/4%. I'm going to move my decimal, or convert this actually first. 13 1/4. 1/4 is the same as 0.25. So 13.25%. Now I have to move the decimal over 1, 2 places. So I will get 0.1325 for my decimal. Now, let's take a look here. 153%. I've got to move my decimal over 1, 2 places. So I should end up with 1.53 as my decimal. Now, I'm going to convert a decimal to a percent. If I have a decimal, I have to multiply in the form 100%. Then I'm going to move the decimal point 2 places to the right after, and then I put the percent symbol. Okay, let's take a look at an example here. 2.4 as a percent. How would I write that? I'm going to take 2.4, I'm going to move the decimal over, or multiply by 100%. So 2.4 times 100 is going to be 240%. All right, let's take each of these decimals and convert these into a percent. 0.54, I'm going to convert or multiply that by 100%. So then I will have 0.54 times 100%, that gives me 54%. Number 2, 0.009, I am going to multiply by 100%. So this is going to be 0.009 times 100%. Then that means I'm going to be moving my decimal over 1, 2 places. So it's going to be 0.9%. All right, next, let's take 2.3, and I'm going to multiply by 100%. I'm going to move my decimal over 2 places, and that will give me 230%. All right, now let's take another example here. 3/20, this fraction, and I want to convert this into a percent. So this, I can actually just multiply into a fraction over 100. So 20 times 5 is going to give me 100. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by the same number. So 3 times 5, and then 20 times 5. And then that's going to give me 15 over 100. Remember, any percent is the number over 100. So now 15 over 100 is the same as 15%.